Hey guys, welcome to the Captain Fizz and Masked Guy show. Tonight we discuss furries and everything to do with that. We'll play some music and come right on back. Hey guys, welcome back to the Captain Fizz and Masked Guy show. I am Captain Fizz.
And as always, greetings from the seventh moon of thunder. I am that mask guy. And with us today, we have Sean from Wild Prairie Furs.
That's right.
Also known as Borealis.
That's right.
Did I get that right?
Yes.
Okay. So welcome to the show.
Thanks.
We'll get you to explain what Wild Prairie Furs is first.
Sure, yeah. Well, Wild Prairie Furs is actually a group of furries in Winnipeg. And we're actually a group formed from a larger group within Manitoba. There is like Winnipeg and Manitoba Furries, which kind of encompasses pretty much all furries in Manitoba and Winnipeg. Wild Prairie Furs is basically a subgroup within with a specific type of, I guess, mandate or a goal.
Okay. And, for those people who aren't aware, perhaps kind of explain exactly what furries are.
Well, furries in the most basic form are fans of anthropomorphic art, animals with human characteristics. I'm sure you've probably seen that Zootopia movie that's coming out pretty soon.
Yes.
That's a prime example of anthropomorphic art. Animals with, like, walking upright, wearing clothes, doing human-like things. And furries really enjoy art in a lot of ways. So, very creative bunch, as you'll probably find out. And basically, furries just have an affinity with animals in one way or another. Whether we just really like animals, you'll find a lot of furries support animal causes, are generally for fair treatment of animals, things like that. So,
Is there actually any organizations you're involved with in the city that you guys currently help?
well, we tend to go to whatever, whoever asks. We have done things for Darcy's Ark, for example. We have had some fundraisers where we've given the money to them. We've participated in fundraising events like garage sales to benefit rescues in the city. Basically, we've been there, entertainment, highly visible, drawing traffic in, anything we can do to help out.
Okay. I guess the next question is, so what kind of, so of course, you base the costumes off of animals, but what kind of, motivates and what kind of inspires you to do those costumes? Is it just animals, or is there more to it?
There's generally more to it. One thing I would like to say at the very beginning is not all furries have actual fursuits. Actually, it's a small percentage of all the furries out there that actually have, like, either full suits or partials, whether it just be head or tail or something like that. So, yeah, like, the fursona might be what you're asking about more.
Yeah, that's
which is the
one.
personality. And, like, for example, Borealis is mine. He's a polar bear. It's kind of a crotchety old, hey, you kids get off my lawn kind of character. When you ask, what motivates us to choose a particular one or what have you, it's what fits.
Okay.
I really like polar bears. Always have. That might be a Manitoba thing with my upbringing here. Just really like polar bears. I'm a big guy. I like the cold. And I am fairly solitary in a lot of ways, and a little grumpy. So it fit me very well. So Borealis was born. His name's actually Borealis Aurora.
Oh,
Yeah.
That's actually very clever.
Yeah, thanks.
Okay. Maybe I'm going to get into a kind of a serious question here. Now, in pop culture in general, seems to kind of paint furries in a kind of a negative way. I'm not sure. I mean, you're probably more aware of this than I am, but I know that years ago I went off. There was an episode of CSI where they kind of painted all furries as kind of be these sex-craved people wearing costumes. And then there's a lot of stuff that's on like Cartoon Network, where they kind of have again kind of take it from, to a sexual degree, or kind of almost mock it in some ways. And everything. I mean, I've even seen an episode of Storage Wars where with very similar.
I think I heard of that one.
Yeah, and so I guess how there's quite the stigma on this.
Yeah,
And-
there is, and that's mostly because of media. When you think of like media in general, what do they cater to? They cater to shock value. They cater to people who want something to hate upon, and that drives ratings. So it's very natural to find you have a huge group of people involved in one fandom or another. Could be furries, could be Star Trek, could be Whovians, could be any fandom. And a small number of that group will be the focus of mainstream media. So that's kind of where that stigma comes from. So when I tell people I'm a furry, they think of what they saw on CSI and automatically give that look like, and I know the look doesn't translate well, but maybe the worked very well. But we try not to dwell on that because it is representative of a very small number, and we try to, instead of try to dissuade people from that thought, we mostly show people what we do, not what we don't do. This is what we do. Put ourselves in the community, put our best paws forward, as it were, and show people this is what it's all about, and make your own decisions.
Right. Now, I know when I was getting prepared to actually approach you guys about having someone come on the show, I actually found your Facebook page.
Right.
And what really impressed me is the first thing I saw was on the very top was that you wanted everybody to keep the conversation appropriate for people as young as like 13 years of age. Mm-hmm. And so that's like, to me, I was like, okay, this is a group that I think is representing themselves well. I mean, it went off in kind of like, okay, so this is for all age groups as opposed to just for adults and everything. So it kind of helped me kind of get into a different perspective, because I remember the first time that I saw furries here in Winnipeg, which was last year at Comic-Con. Mm-hmm. I wasn't quite sure what to make. Okay. And I hated the fact that part of me felt kind of creeped out by it, because I tried to myself not to go off and to be critical or prejudiced towards anyone. Mm-hmm. And so I wanted to I was like, okay, so this was kind of like, okay, this helped me kind of I don't know, I'm kind of babbling here. I'm sorry, but it just is like, okay, so maybe this maybe media has got this completely wrong here. And so and I started through talking to you and doing a little bit of research, I realized just how much media has completely got it wrong. But again, this isn't anything really different for anyone within geekdom, I suppose. Because we could do like Trekkies. Everyone thinks Trekkies are a bunch of complete nerds, and you go off and do plastic surgery to the ears and everything.
It's all stereotypes.
So, yeah, exactly.
And stereotypes are driven generally by mainstream media.
How does your group actually help some of your newer members avoid such stigmas?
Well, not so much actually avoiding the stigmas. We try to lead by example because in this city and in this province, there are a lot of individuals who have been in the fandom longer than I have, by many years, and we try to lead by example, and like that pin post that you were mentioning lays it all out pretty cleanly, that this is an all ages environment, and you have to be 13 to be on Facebook, right? Technically. So that's why we set the 13, because no one under 13 should technically be viewing anything on Facebook. So we try to just be out there, be visible, because people look for what's being hidden. Right? So if you're secretive or if you're doing stuff behind closed doors, the mind automatically goes to, all right, what are they up to? So instead of, trying to defray that, we're going out into the public so they can see us.
How many members do you actually guys have now?
On the Facebook group, last time I looked, we were well over 200, 220-ish, I think, maybe close to 250.
Okay, because part of the reason is there was an article that Winnipeg Free Press did actually on Halloween of all days in 2014, and I was trying to find some information, and I stumbled across this. And so the reason we were asking is at the time, they went off and said that you had 120 members. Okay. So in just a little over a year, to go up to even if it's just online, 220 members, that's actually pretty phenomenal.
That is actually really good, especially for a community like Winnipeg. Because not all of our members on Facebook are from Winnipeg or Manitoba. We have members all across Canada that obviously are not active with us, but they like to see what we're doing. They have friends in the group. They like to hear what's going on in other parts of the country. So we do welcome other people from other areas, including the States, and I think we have some international ones as well. But we do have representative here at events. There's a core group, say, of about 20 or so that we know we put on an event, they're going to be there. Sometimes, a group aren't going to show up, and another section kind of shows up, depending on what the event is, when it is, if it's expensive or not, or what have you. But yeah, it's nice to see that number going up, but our core group really hasn't increased that much.
Okay.
And that's fine, because quite frankly, having a steady group is really important, and they form the core of the group. And again, they're the leaders. They're the ones that lead by example and help, like you say, the younger, newer members to the fandom see what it's really all about and show the good face of the fandom.
Now, I realize this question is kind of subjective, but I mean, because as you pointed out, not all furries have the same skins, I suppose. But I mean, say in your case with Borealis, how long did it go off and take you to go off and make the costume?
Well, I didn't make it. I had my partner Kat in Wild Prairie First. She actually made him. She crafted his head, paws, and tail. That's all I have. I don't have a full suit. And she has done work for other people too, built full suits or partials, ears, tails, what have you. But when it comes to the time it took, it's really hard to say because it wasn't all done in one sitting kind of thing. Part of it was crafted here, or the base was made, the foam base of the head was made, then the eyes were made because they're made of a resin type material, and then the fur went on, and the teeth and everything was made. So, how time-wise, it's really hard to say. Like any of these makers, if you commission them to do a suit for you, depending on what your budget is, how soon you need it, and how much you're, willing to pay to have it done quicker, faster, could make it anywhere from a week up to months, depending on what kind of workload that maker has.
Okay.
That's actually quite impressive. A lot of dedication for it.
Yeah.